guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today on an all-new stimulant-free pump formula from an all-new supplement company. They're called Arms Race Nutrition. It is, of course, daily pump in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's gonna do. That nutritional information panel ain't gonna get it done. We're about to go balls deep in this year. Arms Race Nutrition Daily Pump. Starting from the top, we got ourselves 40 scoops per tub. It is a 2 scoop per serve. So 40 scoops in a daily pump tub, of which 2 scoops is gonna get us 20 serves. In that 2 scoop serve, we're dealing with 15.5 total grams, of which 11.25 grams are actives, spread over 5 active ingredients, of which 3 are trademarked, patented ingredients. So we're dealing with 73% actives, 27% flavors, sweeteners, and stabilizers, which is pretty damn good. Anything between like the 70+%, 70 to 75 is what we typically see, but anything over 70% active ingredients is very good for a stimulant-free pump formula. In terms of what those active ingredients are actually comprised of, guys, as always, link is in the description box to our Supplement Simplified articles on MassiveJoes.com, so you can go and have a read of each and every active ingredient that I'm about to speak about in this daily pump. If you're interested in learning more about exactly what they are, where they come from, what they do, clinical doses, when to take them, so on and so forth. In this raw review, I'm going to talk to you guys about the 5 effects that we attempt to get from a stimulant-free pump formula and how this daily pump stacks up against those 5 effects. So at this point in time, the 5 things that we're trying to get from our stim-free pump formula. The first is boosting nitric oxide via the arginine pathway. The second is boosting nitric oxide via the nitrate pathway. The third is the inhibition of that excess nitric oxide from being broken down by the enzymes that break down excess nitric oxide. The fourth is vasodilation for that delicious vascularity, if you're lean enough to get vascular, of course. And the fifth is the hyperhydration of muscle cells. How does this daily pump stack up? Firstly, boosting nitric oxide via the arginine pathway, we have a well over clinical dose of citrulline in each and every 2 scoop serve of this daily pump. Citrulline, of course, a precursor to arginine, which is a precursor to nitric oxide. So a big tick for that effect. How does it stack up against boosting nitric oxide via the nitrate pathway? We have a whopping dose of the NO3T trademarked patented version of betaine nitrate, which is of course going to boost nitric oxide via nitrite nitric oxide pathway. So a big tick in that box as well. We then move on to inhibition of a nitric oxide breakdown. So we got these ingredients boosting this nitric oxide up. Our body is going to try and break it down to bring it back to a level of homeostasis. This is probably the biggest gap in this formula. There's no agmatine, there's no norvaline, there's no particular ingredient that's directly going to stop the breakdown of excess nitric oxide. So we don't get a tick in that box, unfortunately. Moving on to vasodilation for that vascularity. We have this unique novel ingredient called Vinatrox in a clinical dose that is going to put a whopping tick in boosting vasodilation and vascularity for this daily pump. And then finally, when it comes to hyperhydration of muscle cells, an absolutely monstrous dose of the glycosides yielding 65% glycerol in each and every 2 scoop serve that is going to absolutely hyperhydrate the shit out of muscle cells. So we get a big tick in that box as well. I will also mention, guys, that the glycosides, the betaine nitrate, and the Vinatrox also support muscle power and endurance in addition to the nitric oxide boosting muscle pump effects. So we've got some nice synergism with these ingredients, boosting muscle pump, boosting hyperhydration of muscle cells for muscle cell volumation. It's going to give us a really nice pump. And I guess the side effect or the additional effects of these 3 ingredients is that we're also going to increase muscle power and strength and we're also going to increase muscular endurance and resistance to fatigue. So even when you kind of take this, obviously it's a pump formula, it's called Daily Pump after all, but if you consider this pump formula as a complete stimulant-free pre-workout, it really ticks a lot of boxes that we look for in a stim-free pre-workout, except for the mental focus box, because we've got the pumps, we've got the muscle power, we've got the endurance. So it is quite a complete pump formula in its own right, in addition to what it does in addition to giving you awesome muscle pumps. In terms of what's missing, on paper, quite a comprehensive formula. As I mentioned, probably the addition of something like an agmatine or a norvaline or something to prevent that breakdown of excess nitric oxide is going to be something that you might want to stack this daily pump with. But we'll get to that in a second, because we have to talk about flavors and taste in this daily pump. Comes in 3 flavors. Comes in tart candy strings. Comes in pineapple, mango. Comes in that there orange twist. I will, before we get into the infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test, the first thing that I want to point out to you guys is that the powder, got my personal tub here of the tart candy strings. The powder is incredibly clumpy, so check that out, guys. So when you open your tub of Daily Pump and you're like, ah, shit, man, I got myself a dud tub. It's all clumpy and shit. That's part of what happens when you have massive doses of glycerol in particular, and nitrates to a lesser extent in your pump formula. So you are going to get, they're not hard clumps, they're quite soft, so you can actually, just break them down. So I've got one in my fingers there, and you see, it's quite a soft clump, so it just, disintegrates in your fingers. There you go, that's a nice big chunky piece there. And check this out, it just disintegrates right there. So just smash it up with the scoop. That's just part of the nature of the product. So do not be alarmed when you see that it is incredibly clumpy. That does affect the scoop weight, because obviously it's not a fine powder. So I've tried to weigh the scoop a couple of different times, breaking it up, getting a scoop, packing it in, not packing it in, so on and so forth. What I found is that the scoop is over by about 15%. Once again, depending on how clumpy it is when you scoop it up. But a single scoop is supposed to weigh about 7.75 grams. It actually weighs closer to about 9 grams, and that's a level scoop. So if you want the 2 scoop serve, definitely it's not 2 heap scoops. It's a little bit less than 2 level scoops to get the 15.5 grams bang on in the 2 scoop serve. Infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down. I got myself the double wall glass with a spoon. I have these instructions that I'm going to follow down to a point. Mix 2 scoops with 8 to 12 ounces of water. I have 10 ounces of water in this double wall glass. I'm going to take myself 2 level scoops of this daily pump. That would be not one, that would be a heap scoop. That would be one. Take another here real quick. That would be 2. I have gone heaped. Really putting the taste and mixability to the test. We're putting the mixability to the test for you guys. Few flicks of the wrist. And I'm going to show you guys how it mixes and refresh my memory on how this daily pump in the tart candy strings tastes, man. That's enough. So as you guys can see, it is pretty well mixed. It is a very dense formula. You've got a bunch of active ingredients in there, guys, 15.5 grams in that 2 scoops. But you can see it's pretty well mixed. You do get some sinkers down towards the bottom a little bit, but I'm gonna call it. That's mixed pretty damn well enough. No floaters, nothing going on in there. I would go so far as to say blender ball is not required for this here Arms Race Nutrition Daily Pump. That being said, you're probably going to be mixing it up in a shaker anyway, so blender ball is not required, but you're probably going to use one anyway. Let me refresh my memory on how this tart candy strings taste, man. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, especially considering the whopping dose of active ingredients in each and every 2-scoop serve. The initial taste across all the flavors is quite sweet. It hits the palate, it hits your mouth, and it's quite sweet. And then it's followed by an aftertaste that is quite, I would say, sour. It's definitely sour. It's got a little hint of bitterness to it, but definitely it's like sweet and then sour. The one thing that you will notice across all the flavors is that the mouthfeel and texture is quite furry. It's quite furry, it's a little bit dry as well, primarily because of the glycerol. So that's what we tend to get when we have big doses of glycerol. Sweet, sour, furry, dry. That is the experience when you take a sip of the Daily Pump. In terms of how I'd rank the flavors, for me personally, the tart candy strings is absolutely delicious. It's like a sour, it's a sour strap. It's a candy sour strap type flavor with quite a sweet initial taste to it. I would then go the pineapple mango, which is quite a true to juice pineapple mango type flavor. And then finally, you guys know I don't get down with citrus, so orange twist is going to be my third rank of the 3 flavors that are currently available. In terms of the effects, where do I start with this Daily Pump? I know where I'm going to finish with the effects of this Daily Pump, but where do I start? Let me say that the pumps in their own right are ridiculous. They are ridiculous. The actual pumps in a 2-scoop serve, there's no other word to describe them. They are ridiculous. You take it, you're training arms, you feel like your fucking arms are going to explode. You take it, you're training chest, you feel like your chest is going to explode. You take it, training shoulders, you feel like your shoulders are going to fucking explode off your torso. I have not taken it training back because I'm too afraid. And I'm not going to take it training legs because it's just going to inhibit my performance during the workout. That's how ridiculous the pumps are, guys. Ridiculous. That's the best word I can come up to describe the pumps. The muscle volume is also just the combination of the muscle pumps and the muscle volume is really what makes it feel like your muscles are going to fucking explode when you're training on the 2 scoops of this Daily Pump. The vascularity, if you're lean enough to get vascular, is pronounced. It's very, very good. You get, for me personally, the veins in my forearms stick out like I'm bloody doing blood flow restriction training. It's really, really fucking good. The one thing in terms of effects that the formula kind of has given you guys a little bit of an insight into is the pumps come on very quickly. They are very, very intense. They don't last for probably more than about 45 minutes. That's my experience with it. So I tend to train, chest, arms, shoulders, everything except for my leg workouts and my back workouts are a little bit longer, but all of my other workouts I train for about 75 to 80 minutes. And I have noticed the pumps come on really quick, they are really intense, and then after about 45 minutes, they kind of taper off a little bit. And that's no surprises because we don't have an ingredient that's really designed to prolong those muscle pumps. The one thing I would like to try is because the pumps are so intense when they start coming on, I'd like to try probably a scoop pre-workout and a scoop intra-workout. And I think that that's probably gonna be a really good way just to kind of tone the pumps down a little bit and extend them, prolong them a little bit, if that's what you want, if that's the effect you want. If you want the effect of, I just wanna take my fucking pump supplement before I train in my pre-workout, and I just want to feel like I'm going to explode within the first 45 minutes of my workout, then you take the 2 scoops pre-workout, which is what I've done so far in the Daily Pump, and that's the experience I've had. Just absolutely unbelievable from a pump formula. And when I saw this formula come out, guys, I was excited to try it because I'm like, fuck, this is, if the effects are as good as this formula looks like the effects should be, this is gonna be the #1 pump supplement on the planet by a significant distance. I'm not gonna call it that because of the lack of an ingredient to prolong the muscle pumps, but it's definitely in the rotating top 3 at this point in time. Definitely in the rotating top 3. And if you're the sort of person that doesn't really care about prolonging the muscle pumps, it's probably going to be, no, fuck it, it's definitely going to be your #1 pump supplement. It is a phenomenal supplement when it comes to insane muscle pumps that come on quick and just make you feel like you're going to fucking explode. In terms of the side effects, the benefit of not having something like an agmatine or a norvaline in there is that you can't take too much of it and you can't stack it with something that you need to be cautious about overlapping ingredients. So your side effects are pretty much non-existent. Your stackability is incredibly versatile because there is no overlap of ingredients you can take too much of. So you can pretty much stack it with, if you want to stack it with a stimulant-based pre-workout, fucking go absolutely nuts. If you want to stack it with some performance-based ingredients, go nuts. There's really nothing that on paper that you can't stack it with. So incredibly versatile. In terms of what it compares to, on one side, I'm going to take a kind of an entry-level pump formula, MTS Vasky. On the other side, I'm going to take a very advanced pump formula that's also in the rotating top 3 at this point in time, and that's Ghost Pump. When we compare it to MTS Vasky, the pumps are much, much better. Slightly better muscle volume. Vasky is very good for muscle volume. You get slightly better muscle volume on daily pump, much better vascularity, and the time that the pumps last for is about the same, but daily pump is twice the price. As you'd expect, it's a far more advanced pump supplement than an entry-level pump supplement like a Vasky. When you compare it to a very high-end pump supplement like Ghost Pump, that a lot of people are saying is the cream of the crop at the moment, is the Rolls Royce, so to speak, of pump formulas, very similar muscle pumps to Ghost Pump. Daily pump, Ghost Pump, the pumps are very similar. When you talk about muscle volume, the daily pump really does blow Ghost Pump out of the water. The muscle volume from daily pump is, I would say, in my personal opinion, the best at this point in time on the fucking planet from a non-stim pump formula. I don't think anything comes close in terms of muscle volume. You also get better vascularity from the daily pump than you do with the Ghost Pump, but the pumps in daily pump do not last as long. Ghost Pump, definitely with the addition of norvaline, the pumps tend to last for probably an hour and a half, even up to 2 hours for those really long workouts. So that's kind of the edge Ghost Pump has on it. They are exactly the same price. So really, you're putting daily pump right up there on the top shelf of pump formulas straight away. Like I mentioned to you guys, definitely in the rotating top 3 of pump formulas on the market at this point in time. Who is it best for? Definitely an advanced user of pump supplements. It's not an entry-level pump sup. It's gonna be, even in a 1 scoop dose, guys, it's gonna be too much. If you're new to pump supplements, you wanna start with an entry-level pump supplement. You don't wanna go straight to daily pump. If you are a pump addict, like yours truly, if you love yourself some delicious pumps, man, this daily pump definitely has to be right at the top of your non-stimulant pump shopping list. Final thing I'm going to talk to you guys about, price and value for money. In the Australian marketplace, we're looking at $69.95 for the 40 scoop 20 serve tub. It's $1.75 per scoop. You advanced pump users, pump chasers are definitely going to be rocking the 2 scoops. So $3.50 per serve. It is a very fair price tag for a premium pump product. Nothing we haven't seen before in the Australian market. And I think it is definitely worthy of that price tag. Guys, if you're in the market for a premium pump supplement with pumps that are just going to absolutely blow your fucking head off, you have to go out and get yourself some of this Arms Race Nutrition daily pump, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the Massive Joes YouTube channel. Guys, that is Massive Joe's Raw review on the all new Arms Race Nutrition daily pump. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.
Thank you for tuning into this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.